Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today, the Dartmouth, the championship golf course. I've recently put out a video where we were at Palmeiras Resort in Portugal. I had Joe, who was my caddy on that particular day, and we had complaints about the fact that he was caddying for me using a stroke saver. Well, we're going to take this a little bit further this time. I've got my own caddy through hole 19. There's been some updates on the app. I'm going to share them with you as we go round the back nine here at the championship golf course at the Dartmouth. Let's go. Here we go then, 10th tee, which isn't my most enjoyable tee shot to be starting off with. There's a funny little story, which I'm sure I'll come to as we go around the golf course today, but there's a funny story of me and a Pro-Am. Anyway, right, the first thing that I've got to talk about on the hole 19 app, and you can see it on my left-hand side, is I've got this new little toggle which allows me to be able to see my shot dispersion. As a scratch golfer, these shot dispersions move around depending on what your handicap level is. But you can see as I'm kind of working my way through here that if I was to hit driver, the dispersion is way too wide for this particular hole. And as I work back, even 3-wood and even 5-wood, in my mind, kind of puts me in a bit of an awkward position there. You know, I've got a bit of wriggle room, out of bounds left, a bit of trouble right. So really, the sensible play to get us going with is a 3-iron, which gets me, well, gets me a really, really tight dispersion and also sort of keeps me on the straight and narrow on this particular hole. Let's go with a 3-iron. Nice. That is not bad to get us going with. Arrow straight. I just need a big bounce up there, really. Okay, let's roll. So, I mean, you could argue that possibly that's a little bit safe off the first tee, and I have this sort of thought in my mind that you got to make a decision really when it comes to your game. Certainly either be aggressive off the tee or leave yourself far enough back that you then have to be aggressive, let's say with your next shot, or leave yourself a longer shot in. I always sort of talk about that and I always think about that when I'm on the tee box. But on this particular one here, it's just so narrow. I've played here in a Pro-Am before and I've just got myself into such a pickle because I've hit a ball out of play off the tee as it was my first hole of the day. I've then got a bit flustered and hit another ball out of play. In fact, I never even finished the hole. I gave up on complete because I hit 3 or 4 balls out of bounds. I sort of focused and said, do you know what? It's got too much to me. I was going through a bit of a tough time at that particular time. So I just focused on the team event rather than the individual for that particular day. So it does, you know, it's really important that you get it right with your planning, certainly off the first. So again, focusing on the fact that I've perfect tee shot right in the middle of the fairway. You know, I would rather be a little bit further up if I'm brutally honest with you. However, I got 172 yards to the middle of that green. It's telling me, based on the numbers that I've input into my hole 19 app, that really a 5-iron is the play for me. I think that pin is kind of middle to front. So 6-iron could get me front edge, but I think 5-iron is definitely the place, certainly this time in the morning. 2 rings that you're going to see when you look at this app to get going with. You're going to get the outer ring, which is a scratch golfer. The inner ring, the dotted ring that you see inside there, that's of a tour player. So that's how good they are in comparison to, or how tight they are in comparison to, let's say, a scratch golfer. I mean, that's a complete mishit, but get up there then. I'm actually, in some ways, I'm quite glad I've mishit that because it's difficult to really explain because it's so cold this morning. I didn't feel like, you know, if this was middle of the day, the actual 10th hole on the golf course, I could probably have got a 6-iron there by the time I warmed myself up and got myself into a good space throughout the round. But even though I've hit balls before I teed off, I'm still not fully warmed up. So having that slight mishit made it kind of probably finish a little bit short of centre, but that's probably where a really flush 6-iron would have kind of got to. Right, let's see how good my short game is, shall we? Just on the edge of the green there, let it release down. Nice, come on round, come on round. Not bad, eh? Not bad. I haven't been doing a great deal of practice with my chipping recently, but I'm very happy with that one to get us going with. 413 off this white tee. There is a back tee, but we're not playing tournament championship golf here today. So this is, I've always ever hit driver down here, even though you could argue that possibly it's a little bit tight down there. I'm definitely gonna go with driver, but instead of me aiming kind of where I would aim more down the middle, which then brings more of the right hand possible trouble into play based on my dispersion, I'm gonna kind of aim myself more a little bit down the left, because even if I do miss it down the left, I'm not gonna really end up in that much trouble. I've got a little bit of a rough lie coming out of the mounds a little bit, but I would say down the left hand side with a little fade would be perfect. Right, Joe. Over that bunker is the ideal line, really, over the right edge of the trap with that little slider. Just like that. Just like that. Go on, down you go. I need as much run as we can get out here this morning, because it's been a lot, well, there's been a lot of rain over the last sort of week or so, so it's pretty damp underfoot. Right, perfect drive. Not as far down as you'd always like, but it's not bad. 170 yards that we've got into this hole. That pin right in the middle, more towards kind of like towards the back. And my toggle here is telling me that really to get back to that, where am I? There I am. To get back to that pin is going to be an extra kind of maybe 6, 7, 8 yards to get back there. So based on those numbers, it's telling me 5-iron is the perfect thing, perfect club. If I was to hit 6-iron, that would get me kind of down in here. The thing with it, right, is I don't want to go long. So really 190 yards puts me into that back pin. And remember, I'm slightly downhill as well. So with that in mind, and I feel like I'm warming up a little bit, with that in mind, I'm going to go more of a safer option. And that safer option is going to put me more into the front area of the green. But being off a slight downslope, being slightly downhill, I might even with a decent strike get the 6-iron there. Oh, it's a great strike. Get up. This is all my maths into one here. Get up. Oh, I did, look, all the way back there. You see, and that's just the fact that there's a combination of a number of things there. I'm off a slight downslope, which is de-lofting that club slightly. It's slightly downhill, and obviously I haven't got slope put onto the system. I'm looking for my divot. And the fact that it's a little bit wet, so it's a little bit dewy, obviously, this morning. So therefore getting a little bit of moisture between club face and ball. These are all factors that you've got to sort of think about when you're playing your shots. And all of those mean that the ball is going to want to travel just a little bit further this morning because of the downslope, the de-lofted, the little bit of water between club face and the ball. You know, if I'd hit a 5-iron there, which is what probably the number should have been from what my yardages are, that's back trap. And now I'm short-sided, and then I'm facing, you know, comfortably facing a bogey. Now we got putt for a birdie. Oh, happy days. It's one of those shots where, you know, sometimes you walk down to a hole and the ball just keeps getting further and further away from the flag. This one was getting closer and closer and closer, so a good chance of a birdie. Oh, that swung a lot. I had that right edge, that putt, but I don't know whether I've just pulled that slightly or what I've done, but there was a lot of swing on that particular putt. Anyway, it's a par. We move on. I'm happy with that, to be honest, on this hole. Okay, driver hole, the 12th hole, is just get it up there as far as I possibly can. There's obviously trouble down the right-hand side, and anything missing right is going to hit the bank and kick further right, even though it is a little bit softer today. So I'm just aiming more up the left of centre, because it all kicks down from left to right on this particular hole. So just a standard driver, really, up the left and let it feed down. Stay there, fly a little bit, go on that line. Don't know, I may have just fallen into the trap on that right hand side. There's actually, if you look at the clouds, there's a lot of wind up there off the left when you get it up in the air. The thing with Dartmouth is you're always climbing all the way up the hill from the clubhouse up. So there's a bit more breeze out here than you kind of think. I don't know what I was worried about really when it came to that bunker, because when I did my kind of overview off the tee, you could see that it was only around sort of 190 to 200 yards. But the problem is I just didn't quite catch the tee shot, which is what I panicked about more so than anything else. 149 yards I got to the centre. That pin I think is tucked over on that right hand side, which is around the sort of 152 mark. If I bring that, which is telling me it's a perfect A time, but you got to think 152 to go to the back edge, which is kind of where my 7-iron would sit at around 160. There's no real drama there. And I do feel that because we're now playing a little bit more uphill, whereas the last hole I was a little bit more on the downhill, I could play a club less. This time I'm going to go with a club more. So where it's saying I should be hitting 8-iron, I'm going to go with 7-iron, and I'm not even going to look at that flag. I'm going to go more middle of the green and play a little bit more conservatively. See, it's cutting off that lie. It's lie ball. Well, that is, I think, pretty close to the flag. And the reason I was going for the middle of the green, and the reason why I was kind of still looking for these divots, the reason why I was going with the extra club was because that ball was so far below my feet that the ball is going to want to move from left to right on me because of the, you know, you've got to think I'm more over the ball, so my swing is going to be more, I'm more over the ball, so I'm going to be a little bit more upright in my approach, which means my angle of attack is going to be a little bit steeper. I'm going to get the feeling of the club moving a little bit more left on me, so I'm promoting more of a cut kind of shot in. If I hit a cut shot, I generally lose a little bit power, generate a little bit more spin, so therefore the ball's going to come up a little bit shorter and the ball's going to move from left to right. So centre of the green, not too much damage, and now we've actually, you know, hit a poor, not a poor shot, I've hit a good shot, but it's overcut on what I expected, and it's actually landing right by the flag, so a little bit of a bonus really. But if I'd have gone at the flag, I'd have been in trouble, been in serious trouble. Well, that A-time was never going to get there, and you can feel it now that you're even higher up here, how much the wind is, you know, you see the clouds are all heading that way, so it was definitely never getting there. A-time was going to be, even if I'd have struck it, it was still in that trap. So 7-iron was the right club. But just shows, doesn't it? A little bit uphill, ball below your feet, into a slight breeze out the left. You're fighting it, aren't you? 7-iron was saying that it should be kind of back, middle to back. So we've probably lost 10, well, I've lost a club. Easily a club of from the yardage. Turn in. Oh, I've had a couple of looks, haven't I? I've had a couple of little looks there. A little bit more, and we had that. That was a better read that time. I've got to give it a little bit more than I think out here. 13th hole then. This one is a really good one because not necessarily from a dispersion point of view. I've got plenty of space up there. I've got more wriggle room up the left than I do down the right. Everything, again, wind into out the left as well. It's more when you get on a hole like this one, which is only 340, it's more about looking, not necessarily on your tee shot, but where do you want your approach shot to come in from? Because if I hit a driver in a normal yardage, which let's say it goes at like 260 if with a bit of run, it leaves me with about 89 to 90 yards into the hole, which is probably like a full lob wedge for someone like me. That might not be my perfect yardage. I might want to actually just bring it back and hit more of a fuller shot in. So I might say, oh, I'd rather hit a pitching wedge because that's my favourite club, and that's what you guys might think of as well as some of your favourite clubs. So actually, me hitting 3-wood, but there's no wind, me hitting 3-wood would be perfect down here to leave myself the perfect yardage. So it's not always about the dispersion. Once you've figured out your dispersion, it's not always about what you're going to hit off the tee. It's also thinking, right, okay, what's next? And how do I plan for that kind of next shot? For me up here into the breeze, again, I want to kind of aim more up the left-hand side of the fairway rather than more down the centre because I've got more wriggle room up the left than I do the right. So it's, for me, it's still driver. I think that gets me the perfect shot in, especially into the wind. That's absolutely perfect for this wind. A little bit lower. We'll hit a bit of a downslope as well, so we get a little bit of a kick forward. Not the longest drive of the day, but it's down the middle. We got a shot into the green with hopefully a shorter club this time. So I'm seeing this pin there's a little bit more over to that kind of right hand side there. I mean, this is perfect. I've left myself 56 yards. I must have got a bit of a kick forward off that lie there. I'm off a slight upslope and I'm slightly hurting, aren't I? So I've got 100, let's say I've got 103 yards. 110 gets me to that back edge or back bunker there, so I want to kind of avoid that. So 103 yards, 102 yards to that flag. For me, it would be on a normal day, off a normal lie, I would be hitting 56-degree wedge. For this particular shot, I need to just think about the last hole, club up slightly. So I think based on that, I'm going to go with 50. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to go with a pitching wedge. And I'm going to hit a little knockdown wedge, because if I rip a 50 at it, if I remember, this green is slightly pitched from back to front a little bit. So if I rip a 50 at it, I'm going to rev it up a lot, and then as soon as it lands, it's going to want to spin back. So again, off this tricky lie, I don't really want to be attacking the flag. I want to be slightly left of the flag, just a little knockdown wedge, take the spin off the shot, and when it lands, it should just drop and kind of stop on me. Pulled it a little bit off that lie, but the wind's kicking it back a bit. So even that's got plenty of spin on it. We'll see when we get up there. You could argue that that was maybe a little bit conservative, but it's not one of those that I kind of want to look at and attack the flag, you know? If the lie was flat, I would have been a little bit more aggressive in my approach, but because we're off that upslope, you know, lots of things can happen. The body's not moving, it's not turning into the slope as much, so anyway, it's putting, that's a positive. The thing that I'm liking about this is maybe a little bit of a, I don't know, I just feel, you know, if we're comparing using a caddy or using what we use Joe over in Palmares, I've got more visuals, I've got more of a purpose of what I'm doing. I feel like I'm making really good decisions out on the golf course here at the moment. Okay, yeah, we haven't holed the putts that we probably, maybe one of those birdies should have gone in, but you know, I feel like I'm making great decisions there. In previous, maybe I would have gone with 50 and it may have landed back there and spun towards the front of the green. I just, yeah, it's giving me that purpose, I feel, which is giving me more clarity, definitely more clarity with each shot. Low. That was always a bit low, that one. Never got it started on the line I kind of intended it to go on. Anyway, it was always an outside chance of a birdie. Just a quick one, hope you're enjoying the video at Dartmouth, but I just wanted to let you know that Hole 19 is a free app. So if you want to go and check it out for yourself, please download it and give it a go. But they also offer a little premium area, some extra little add-ons to the app, which they're offering you a 30% discount using the code LOCKERROOM30. There's a link down in the description, but with that in mind, go and check it out. But let's get back to Dartmouth. Toughest hole on the course in my mind, this one. Well, I'll say that. The next hole, the next two, these two are the two toughest in my this is toughest because of the yardage of it, which is going to be, it's 420 off the backs here. It's you have to hit driver. So so yeah, I'm putting myself up there with driver in hand. But the next hole is where it gets a bit tricky. So I want to get it up there as far as I can to leave myself as little club as I possibly can in. I'm expecting, if I'm honest with you, I'm expecting to be going in with a 3-iron, I would think, with this, because it'd be playing all uphill for my next shot. Don't cut too much. Oh! Wow! Wow. Most of you that have watched this channel for some time will know I'm not a fan of cart paths on golf courses. I hate them. They've done more damage to me over the years and my golf balls than probably anything else. But in this situation, I've caught the downslope and the corner of the cart path, which has kicked me up here. So I'm in the rough, granted, but I've only got now 138 yards. And the last time I played this hole, I ripped one. All right, a little bit further back, but I did rip one in the summer and I still had a 3-iron in. So now at 138 yards, it's saying 9-iron gives me 142 on my kind of area there. So out the rough, I could probably thump a 9 out of there. I'm probably, for the safe side, I'm going to go with 8 iron because it allows me to get it to the back edge, which it all kind of falls back down as well. And there's the great doctor shows himself here, little Mackenzie at the front. So I want to avoid that as best I can. So I think out of that lie, 8 iron, give it a thump and see what we can do. Oh, it's brave. Stay on that. Stay. Okay, that's good. Back edge. That's really good. Again, you know, would I have hit an 8 iron in that situation? I think that divot has exploded on me. I don't know, based on the numbers, I probably would have just tried to thump a 9 iron. Not really sort of taken into consideration all the slopes, and like I said, I think it just gives me purpose. It really does give me a lot of purpose for each shot. I think probably in the summertime, maybe I would have thought about being a little bit shorter, only because the greens would be a lot quicker. I've got a bit of a downhill putt now, which isn't bad for this time of year, but in the summertime, maybe 9 iron into kind of that portion there would have been better. Quick down there. Quick down there. One of those that you wanted to rattle, you know, down that hill. Didn't break like I thought it would, but definitely got the pace where we wanted it. Okay, it's a lot of pars out here, but it's stress-free golf in my mind, which is a good thing, certainly if you're competing a lot, you know. Now, I did say that these 2 holes were the 2 toughest holes, and this is the one where I think strategy is really, really important. So 15th hole, which is 400. Now, the problem you get here is when you get a good one away, you end up on a bit of a downslope, so you got a really tough shot for your second shot. And it's kind of like one of those where you think, oh, do I just whack driver down there and accept what I get? Or do I lay back? But the problem is if I lay back with 5 wood or 3 wood, I'm definitely got 2 bunkers that I've got to deal with. Whereas if I hit driver, I can carry those. I can carry the traps off this tee, maybe not off the back tee, but off this tee I can get past it, and then I'll just accept that I've got a tougher shot in. Well, I'm gonna have a tough shot in, whether it's staying up on the flat and hitting a long club or getting on the downslope and hitting a shorter club. I think we'll go with the shorter club. That's perfect down the right hand side. Now the wind's just drifting it back. Just hitting it to the fattest part of the golf course there, because I'm getting past all the trouble. Again, using that dispersion toggle tab, it just enables us to be able to really get a visual of what it looks like from up top down. So much easier. Well, for all that chit chat and the fact that I've got more confidence standing there hitting into the fattest areas of the golf course, that ball, like, it should not be into wind, but that ball is finished in the narrowest part of this hole. There's a bunker just here, there is a bunker over there, but look at where it's landed. It's landed there and it's gone a foot forward. So I'm actually left with a lot more club. This is where I was expecting like a 3 wood to go, 5 wood to get back there, 3 wood to come right in the middle of these traps, driver to be up and over the top. So I am a little bit shocked that I'm this far back. However, with that in mind, I've got 191 yards to the middle of that green. That flag is kind of front middle, and it's telling me that 3 iron is the club, and I would absolutely agree with that. 5 wood I think is going to go to the back edge, but then it's into wind slightly, isn't it? What's the danger? Let me just see what it is at the front. What have we got on the front edge there? So front edge is 172. So I'd like to think that I could get a 3 iron past 172 even from this position. So we're going to go with 3 iron. I just don't like 5 wood flying too far, you know. Up the right, let the wind and the slope bring it back. Hell of a strike. Hit it, wind. Come on. Keep drawing. Yeah. Wow, it's gone miles as well. Come on down. Come back a little bit on me. Okay. I was probably a little bit too safe there, to be honest with you. But then 5 iron for me would have been really close to coming up short. So that has gone kind of back edge of the green. But we're putting at the end of the day with a 3-iron. If you can get it on the green, then it's all right. Just stall it a little bit, stall it, stall it, stall it. Oh, wow, sit down, sit. Okay, got the read right. Okay, that, I'm very happy with that, because that ultimately, you got to think driver, 3-iron, 2 putts from what should be really, got probably more chance of 3-putting that than 2-putting that length. But yeah, again, another green in regulation. Some positive stuff going on today. Green light, I would say, this one. It's a par 5, it's 511. It's driver. Driver gets me just past, yeah, 240 gets me past the trap on the right hand side. I kind of, in a way, I kind of want to just aim down the middle here, because I feel like there's a little bit of wriggle room either side. As long as I get hold of it, get it past that trap. Oh no. No, 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 DH. I mean, it's probably in the bunker. What, I teed that a bit too high. I've almost roofed that. I've gone for the almighty. Caught it right at the top of the club. Didn't square the face up. Gone down the right hand side. And it doesn't mean, well, it means that we're not going to get there in 2. Which is a shame. Well, I would say one very lucky boy there. I mean, we're wandering down here thinking, like, I must have lost so much swing speed today, because it was only like 240 or 245 to get past this trap. I know I didn't get it, but you think you shouldn't really be worried too much about that one. Okay, we're toggling down again. So it's 266. I've got 235 gets me to the front. That 3-wood can get me to the kind of front edge area. About there. So it's the problem I've got is the lie isn't great. I can't get a 3-wood on that. No way. I don't even know if I can get a 5-wood on that. Well, so with that in mind, let's plot properly. So I want to leave myself around about 100 yards, which is telling me 181 5-iron. Okay, it might hop a little bit out of there. It's slightly downwind as well, so we can go, that means with that in mind, we can go with a 6-iron just to play for a little bit of the flyer out of that lie. Yep, it definitely hopped a little bit. Go on forward, keep going. As long as we catch the fairway, we'll be right. Okay, might not have got the flyer that I was kind of anticipating out of there, but you know, we might end up with a 50 degree wedge or something like that, so we're okay. So we got it a little bit further down than I thought. I mean, it's probably just skipped down on the downslope, I would think, which has left me about 91 yards to that flag. So with that in mind, it's definitely just a nice smooth, in my mind, smooth 56 degree wedge. Sit down, sit, sit, sit. Caught that so thin, sit. I've just caught that a little clean off that lie, and I had placing as well. I didn't give myself the best lie there. Anyway, we're through the back. We're left with a little chip. Haven't chipped in for a while, so maybe we'll get one of them. Can we chip one in? That's the big question. Can we chip one in? Gone for it. Go on then. Roll out, roll out, roll out. Oh! Oh! You know when you're so zoned in and you're like, can I chip this in? Can I chip this in? It's almost like, again, you're giving yourself a direction, a purpose of what you're trying to do, rather than going, don't duff this, don't duff this. Anyway, another more adventurous par, let's call it. Okay, right. Toughest tee shot this. Like, I feel like today's been a lot of drivers, you know, but this one is tricky because to get over the trap, it's saying 3-wood should be there, should get me there, but I don't think you're going to carry the trap with 3-wood. But still 248. You got to think, I'm into wind. My driver is definitely going to be favouring towards that trap based on where I've got to go, because anything right at the trap's going to kick in, and then So I'm gonna, you know, almost like for the sake of the video as well, like I'm gonna hit 3-wood and try and come up just short of the bunkers, because it's 222 into this breeze. I shouldn't get there. Yes, I'm leaving myself like 160 in, but I think I'm better off leaving myself 160 into this kind of green than being out of the trap. So let's go with 3-wood and see how that positions me. That is horrendous. Get lucky. Like I'm not going to lose the ball, but it's sliced on me a lot in the wind. Okay, we're going to have a really tough shot in. I'm not sure whether that was the right choice there or not, to be honest with you. But let's see. I mean, I was expecting disappointment, and I've got it up the right here because nothing's bouncing in today. Anything just short, if you spin round, you can see how short I am of this track. That's 222 to that. The wind's really picked up as we got up the top here. It was a bad strike. It was a spinny right cutty 3-wood, so it just didn't go anywhere. If I'd have got it out properly, I think I would have been perfectly in that kind of corner there, which was kind of like my aim. And I just think driver, still I don't think driver was the right play, because I'm just going to literally throw it into that trap, you know, because it's a big trap. So I'm now left with 192 yards out of a toughish lie into the breeze. You know, I've got to play. I'm going to hit 5-wood. It's a lot of bat, isn't it? But I can't see a 3-iron coming out of that lie. So I'm going to try and chop up a 5-wood and just hope for the best. The only good thing is it's come out like a bullet. It's kicking a bit right on me, so it'll probably miss right of the green. But it definitely, that's the beauty of these high lofted fairways, is you can just dig them out of anywhere really. But you just got to be careful with the flyers. You get the odd flyer, you just got to almost play for it sometimes. Okay, chipping a putt. So bunker is where I've ended up, which I don't think is a bad leave, if I'm honest. I feel like I feel like I'm a decent enough bunker player, but I'm landing on a massive downslope here, which is the trickier one, but I'm into wind slightly as well, which is helpful. So which means that the ball should just stool a little bit more, there's a feeling. But really we're trying to land this just between the fringe and that flag, and hopefully get it to stop on that downslope if we can. It's quite wet in here. Spin. Yeah, I expected it to hop forward. Threw it maybe a little bit too far. But that's not bad. It's a tough hole today. I've probably made it tougher by doing what I did off the tee, haven't I? Really going in with 5-wood out of there. Anyway, putt for a par. This would be really useful if I could just pop this one in. Eesh. Eesh, that's uphill, isn't it, DH? That is uphill. That was a poor putt. That was, I would say, if I would go back in time, I would have hit driver. I think I've just maybe overthought that one a little bit. Probably would have been useful for maybe a second opinion there from somebody else, maybe talking me through that. I just went purely on the numbers. Poor swing off the tee, left myself so much work to do coming in, and this is what I kind of say to you, is that, you know, you've got to make a decision whether you're going to be aggressive off the tee and take the risk on, or you lay yourself back. But if you're going to lay yourself back, hit a club that you're going to find the fairway with, because you cannot be battering in 5-woods out of the rough trying to get any sort of control going into that hole. Okay, it's 1 over par. Haven't made any birdies, but got a tough finishing hole. From this tee then, 196, it's saying 3-iron, it's into the breeze. I mean, I don't want to go short, I don't want to leave myself short, which is saying where my 192 gets me front edge, or 1782 gets me front edge. It's just so into wind, isn't it? I mean, I'm gonna hit my 5-wood, because 5-wood gets me on a normal day into the middle of the green, but is slightly downhill. Oh, it is downhill, isn't it? decisions. How much is that wind going to affect that ball if I go, because it's downhill? I've got to probably take off maybe. Yeah, I'm going to go with 5 wood. Oh, come down a bit. I've knuckled it. Sit down. That is long. That is a little long up the left. That was a tough shot with that club today. I just don't think 3 irons get in there. I really don't. I think that's the right club, and I think it's finished kind of pin high, but it's a little left. Oh, it's a stumbling finish, isn't it, by me? Okay, here we go. That is not ideal, is it, DH? Luckily, it popped out of its little plug mark there. I mean, I got it pin high. It's literally all I want to do is try and get this on the green if I can, because this is a extremely tricky lie. On the green, take your 2 putts and run away, DH. Sit down, sit. Come out a bit hot. Okay. I couldn't really do a lot. It wasn't the greatest lie. Right club though, wasn't it? You know, I've hit that really well. Got it 5 wood, almost pin high, just past pin high. 3 iron. You know, I might have needed a bit of help off the cart path with the 3 iron, to be honest. Or maybe it might have just carried the cart path. May have got into that trap, but definitely couldn't have got it onto the front edge. No way. Well, there we go. I mean, I don't feel like I've played to 2 over, but it's as good as I could do on the day. Just didn't get any birdies out there, did I? Which I probably felt like I had a couple of really good chances. But I really like that new part to the app with hole 19. I think they've done a great job in putting that together. That's going to develop over time, and the more input that you guys have onto it, the more it can grow and advance as we move forward. I'm going to also work with them a little bit in sort of refining and doing all the things that hopefully will improve it as we move forward. But I'd like to hear down in the comments, what do you think? Is it something you're going to use yourself? Make sure you go and check out Locker Room Golf as well, because obviously we've got that little discount code for you on there as well. So don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Big thank you to Joe, big thank you to Dartmouth, and I'll see you again on the next video.